Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the WASR AK-47. And just to cut to the chase, if you don't have one, get one. Okay. The AK-47 is at the basically on my top 3 gun list. If there's 3 guns that you have to have, it's an AR-15, it's an AK-47, and a Glock. Okay. A lot of people years back, was talking crap about WASRs. And basically the WASRs are the Romanian AKs. I believe that when they're imported, they are set up only to take 10-round magazines, and then once they're imported, they cut them out to take the the standard 30-round magazines. And I think that has something to do with the stupid import rules. But basically, it's a very good gun. It's reliable. I've done most of my AK shooting on the on that Zavesta underfolder. Okay, the AK underfolder. I've got 10,000 plus rounds on that. I probably got a couple of thousand rounds on these 2 AKs, somewhere between 2 and 3. Maybe approaching 4 or 5. I don't remember exactly, but it's a great gun. And the way I have it set up, okay, basically I've got the side-mounted rail with a red dot on top of it. Okay. Now, if you choose to do that, and I definitely recommend it, if you have an AK, you definitely want to have a red dot on it. I mean, basically when you sight it in with the iron sights, you're probably going to have to shift that front sight over to the right a lot. I'll point this out there. You can see how to really shift that out there. That's pretty typical when you're making your adjustments. But once you get your iron sights sighted in, get a red dot on it and get that zeroed in. And I use the basically I use a 50-yard zero. Now obviously with the AK I'm not going to get a 50-200, but it'll be close. Okay. So it kind of gets me. And then usually what I'll do is I'll go out to the 110 yards. I like to shoot, and I'll kind of re-zero in a little bit. If it's shooting a little bit low, I'll bring it up a little bit. So it's really a 110-yard zero. That's what it really is. But I start out with the 50-yard zero, and that usually gets me right where I want to be, more or less. So you definitely need a red dot. You need you need the side rail. Now, when you do that, what's going to happen is if you look at the iron sights, if you see where they sit, and you see how high the red dot's going to sit. So obviously the red dot's sitting a lot higher. You're obviously not going to get a co-witness with this. What that means is that when you go to basically get behind that red dot, if you don't have some type of a riser on your stock, you're basically anchoring the stock to your jaw, okay, instead of your cheek. So you need some type of a riser on your stock, and this is a pretty cheap one that works. It's from ATI. It works just fine. Okay. And then what I did is I put I talked a couple of weeks ago. I talked about these sockets that I mount in there. I actually attached that myself, so I'm able to put a sling here, and then I attach the sling here, and I'm able to do a lot of my tactical work with this gun. So that's one of the things that keep in mind. You have to have some type of a riser on the stock so that you can get that cheek weld that you normally that you're more accustomed to. Okay, so I like to be consistent. I like things to kind of work the same with all my guns. So that's why I put the riser on the stock. Another option that sometimes people will use, that's actually quite popular, is they'll change out the gas tube cover, and they'll put basically they'll get like a rail system that allows them to put the red dot up here, and then they're actually able to co-witness between the iron sights. And I did that with my Serbian with PAP, with the AK pistol. I did a video on that. You guys can go check that out. I did it, I kind of like it back here more. So when I did that, I went into that, not knowing if I was going to like it more or less. I didn't know if I was going to end up doing the same thing to my other AKs. And basically, I decided that on these 2 AKs, I want to stick with the with the side rail. Now here's the thing with the side rail, if for any reason you need to get inside the gun to clean it or anything, basically when you remove the side rail and put it back in, you may have to re-zero. Now you're not going to have to re-zero a lot. It might be 1 or 2 clicks either way. I mean, realistically speaking, if I remove this the scope mount and put that back on, I mean, at 50 yards, I will still be able to hit a man-sized target. But if you're looking to get nice tight groups, on paper at let's say 100 yards, 110 yards, 150 yards, you're definitely going to need to re-zero the rifle. So that's one of the bad things about the side rail mount for a scope. Okay, but I have found that's where I like it on the AK. I like it back here rather than up here. Okay, so great gun. Like I said, just if you don't have one, get it. I mean, at the time that I was buying these guns, I was paying something like $500 for them. Which back then was expensive because the guys that were buying them a few years earlier were getting them for $350. Okay. Now I think they're going upwards of $700, closer to $800. They're just being imported less and less. I mean, I don't know what the deal with that is, but if you want to get a WASR today, you're gonna pay close to $700, and the gun is still worth it. I mean, let's put it this way: for my ARs, I basically have drawers full of, full of parts that one day I may this may break or that may break, and I may need to replace the different parts. Well, that's no concern for the AK. I mean, I don't have any replacement parts for these guns, because I don't expect them to break. I mean, AKs don't break really unless you're using them as hammers again on concrete. I mean, they really don't break, and I really don't clean them that much. I mean, I think on the gun that I have, the underfolder I've shot over 10,000 rounds with, I think I only cleaned that gun one time, okay? And I only cleaned it because I think I needed to show somebody how to clean it. So it's a really good gun. It's definitely a must-have, top 3 on my list of must-have guns. Now, as far as changing the furniture to put rails up here, like I said, some people mount a scope up here. If anything, if I was to put a rail out here, I'd put it more to put a light out here. Now, that's not the end of the world. I mean, I kind of did this more. I don't keep this here, but I kind of did this for demonstration purposes. I mean, basically, if you pull back I'm just going to intentionally pull back the scope just a little bit, and it allowed me to mount an offset light in front of it. Now, it's a little awkward because you really got to reach your thumb back there in order to activate that. But you can make it work. You can make a light work by mounting it to that rail. And like I said, I really don't like it that much. So I mean, I don't need it there right now. I use other guns for my night shooting. But that's an option if you need to do it with this particular mount. And I did this also on my Beretta. You see that basically this mount kind of forms a triangle. What I would do is I would just cut this piece out. You don't need it. The light will still stay in place. I would cut that piece out if I was to decide that I really wanted to keep this light in front of that scope, so that that little piece that goes diagonally there does not interfere with my vision. And I did that with the Beretta, with my Beretta CX4 Storm. Check out the video on that if you want to see how that worked out. That worked out pretty good. So that's the only deal. I mean, you definitely got a place to put your scope, and if you need to, you can. Oh, on this scope over here, it's actually this. Here's another option. This scope actually comes with a. You got a Picatinny rail on the top and a Picatinny rail on the side. And I actually forgot, but that's the reason why I didn't pull the scope back a little bit. Because if I wanted to mount a light, I would just mount it on the side rail that's on the scope. So that's another good option for you guys. I kind of forgot that was there. That's a UTG mount. So this is the mount I would recommend for you guys if you're getting a mount. All right. Let's talk about accuracy. Okay, a lot of times people talk about AKs are not accurate. They're very accurate. Okay, it's not as accurate as an AR-15, but it's accurate. And I was shooting the tool ammo earlier. Okay, now this is using the Adaball red dot, which is a 3 MOA. What that means is that the red dot is supposed to cover 3 inches at 100 yards. In reality, it covers like 3/4 of the paper. Okay, it covers almost all of the paper. That's in reality. And basically, the groupings that I'm getting with this gun is the best groupings I've ever gotten with these AKs at 110 yards is 4 inches. Today it's a little windy out here. I mean, I'm hitting closer to 5-inch groupings. So there's one grouping over here. And here's an interesting grouping that I got. Basically, I got 4 shots within 3 inches of each other. And then I got one way out here, so that kind of ruined it, So if I was to just call that a flyer, I might be able to say that's a 3-inch grouping. But if you include that, it's a 5-inch grouping. I mean, overall, I've done this enough times where I can say that this is. I lost my paper. I can say that these guns with red dots will shoot 4 inches at an average of 4 inches at 110 yards. Okay. Now, for comparison's sake, I pulled out my Palmetto AR. Okay, and the reason why I pulled out the Palmetto is because this is a $350 AR. Basically, it's a good cheap AR. Okay, and since most people can, most AK people consider the WASRs at the economy end of AKs. A lot of people will consider this at the economy end of AR-15s. I thought it would be fair to compare the two. Okay. And to compare it, what I did is I used tool ammo because normally when I shoot the ARs, if I'm looking for tight groups, I usually pull out the brass. But I said, today since we're comparing, we're comparing it specifically to the AK, let's keep things equal. Let me get the tool ammo. So I used the tool ammo, and the best grouping I ever got with this gun using brass was 3 inches, and today with the tool ammo, I got 3 inches. Okay, basically this, I only shot one group. It's not like I shot like 10 groups and I pulled out the best one. I mean, I did one group and I nailed a 3-inch group with the steel case tool ammo and using the same red dots. I mean, it's an Adaball. All these scopes all these guns have Adaballs on. I like using Adaballs because they're cheap. Basically $100 red dots that are daylight bright, and they take the AAA batteries so that they're easy for me to replace when I need to. And they work good. I mean, if you have a lot of rifles, and you don't want to, obviously you can't have a $500 red dot on every rifle you own if you have a lot of them. The Adaballs have been doing pretty good for me lately. I mean, going forward, I'm probably going to be buying more Holosuns because I have all my rifles already fitted. So now, I'm looking to say, okay, this rifle I want to have a better red dot on. This one I want to have this or that. But that's where that is. But basically, on average, you've got a 4 MOA on the AK-47 and versus the 3 MOA on the AR-15. And again, that's shooting red dots that are 3 MOA. So like I said, the red dot takes up almost 3/4 of the paper. So it's really hard to get like a 1-inch group when your red dot's taking up like 3/4 of the paper. So those are the results. Like I said, the AK, the WASR AK, definitely something that everybody should have. It's a great gun. It will not let you down. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you guys next time.